We've had several standing ovations today. I think she deserves one for putting it.
Woo!
We've already had some great speeches. I hope I can up here with Cathy. You've done a great job. If Brother John, get you fired up like you did this morning after a 3+ hour drive up here this morning, surely anybody can fire up. Matter of fact, if I didn't have enough, I'm going to say one thing I didn't have planned. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Troy Reynolds, and I am the founder of Texans for Public Education. We're the purpose group that you look around. And I want to piggyback on something Brother Johnson said. He was talking about the importance of voting. And I'm a military veteran. I served as a military policeman from 1985 to 1991. I got out after Desert Storm. My son is now serving with the 1st Armored Division. They just came back from the Middle East. And if you have someone you're trying to talk into voting, please feel free to use this guilt card. If they're not going to get up and go vote, what did we do it for? Okay, every military person out there, veteran and active, is defending your right to vote. The least American citizens can do is go exercise that right. So please feel free to use that on anyone. So that's not what I'm here to talk about. And I'm not the accomplished speaker of my predecessors. I'm a writer, not a speaker, so I have cheat notes. For the last 40 years or so, there's been an ongoing philosophy of treating public education as a business model. This began with the advent of standardized testing brought about by H. Ross Perot, who made a tidy little profit out of it. The claim of a business model is that competition makes for a better product. I'd like to spend a little time exploring that concept, how it devalues children, and why it should raise a red flag for you when a politician starts comparing education to a business model competition.
Right, that's right.
You see, when you look at a child as a product, you give that child a set market value. There's a certain amount of worth for that child and no more. And how do you feel about your own child? Is there a limit of money or resources that you would not spend to better your child? When put into personal terms, looking at a child as a thing with fixed value and a propensity for profit is offensive. Should your child be placed into a box as a resource, or should your child be nurtured to grow? There's another fallacy in using a business model, and the analogy varies according to the teller, but basically what it says is this. If I'm an entrepreneur and I have a company making widgets, I have to purchase raw resources. I have to put those resources through a manufacturing process and create my product, and I have to market my product. Using the business model of competition makes the market stronger. I know this, that if my supplier of raw resources provides me with a poor quality supply, instead of giving me shop grade lumber instead of A-grade lumber that I need to make my product, I can refuse to accept that shipment and move to another supplier. Children are the raw resource. If we follow the business model, I then should be able to tell anyone who attempts to supply me with a defective raw resource, say a child with a learning disability, a child with a behavior problem, a child with a physical defect, then I should be able to reject that child as defective and not put them through the manufacturing process of education. I cannot think of an idea more repugnant and more anti-American than that. This is the model that politicians, businessmen, and others who do not understand education attempt to equate public education to. The model is wrong. It creates high-stakes testing, which is used in a way for which it was never intended. It takes the fun out of both teaching and learning and forces teachers to skim the surface of their subject matter rather than spending time examining things in depth. It treats children as data points. You know, we have one grade level in our schools which is not represented by a number, kindergarten. It's actually a German word, which means literally garden of children. I would argue that education is more akin to a garden than a business model. A garden cannot be put on a set schedule. Fruits and vegetables grow on their own calendar, not on ours. A garden cannot be completely put on a routine. I can water a garden at a set time every day, but if I continue watering and weeding, Yet I missed the fact that pests have invaded my garden, and to address that, I will lose the harvest. You cannot simply plant a garden in the soil and expect all plants to grow equally. Some plants will need fertilizer or pH adjustments to thrive in the same soil in which other plants thrive. Schools are akin to gardens. You can attempt to have routines, but each child has individual needs which must be met in an identical environment with others. Outside situations can act as pests to a child, and they must be dealt with in order to help that student learn. Finally, while every child can learn, every child does not learn the same way, and they do not learn at the same pace. They will grow at the pace for which they were created. Regrettably, we now live at a time when school shootings are a matter of fact. We see the story over and over again, and we comment that it didn't used to be this way. How many of you have heard the comment, there was a rifle and a shotgun in every pickup truck in our parking lot? We never had one. I would ask you then, what changed? There are a lot of factors that go into the creation of a school shooter. But I would argue one factor is a system which treats children as a data point and not as children. We cannot dehumanize people and then act surprised when they behave in an inhuman fashion. Think of this. When my generation was in school, we, as all teenagers do, searched for our personal identity. I was a very average student. So my self-identity and self-worth had nothing to do with my academic prowess. I was a scrub athlete, but I loved sports. And I was a very good actor. I identified with those roles, not with academics. In fact, if it hadn't been theater, I probably would have dropped out of school, because we changed districts in the middle of my freshman year, and I never did fit in high school. Our current system does not allow children to identify their self-value like we do. In fact, it expressly says that you may be an outstanding athlete, actor, musician, artist, computer programmer, mechanic, or something else, but if you can't pass a test, you are a leech on society. Everybody else is college and career ready. You are not. You are a failure. Your teachers are a failure. That's what our system says to these children. How exactly are we surprised then when a student cannot take the pressure and breaks? We create our own monsters. And we must stand up and hold our legislature accountable for what they have done to our children. Even the current privatization movement shows once more that they are more concerned with money than with our children. They wish to create tax-financed white flight from public education rather than fix the problems that we have, because they do not understand, nor do they wish to understand, that their entire model is the leading cause of financial, academic, social, and psychological problems faced in schools today. You must become active. You must stop listening to sound bites and start working at research. When a politician says he wants to give teachers a $10,000 raise, that sounds really nice. But do your due diligence by doing the math and asking questions. A $10,000 raise has a $4 billion price tag. Where is it coming from? What's his plan to raise that many tax dollars? When a politician gives your school an F, go take a look at what's really going on in that building. Do you see failure? Or do you see students growing in many ways, many of which cannot be measured by a test? Stop accepting things at face value and be the thinking individual you were educated to be. Most of all, you must vote for people who will have no agenda with public education other than doing what is best for kids. Do your research. As to education, we're trying to make research easy. At Texans for Public Education, we research and document everything we can get our hands on. Voting records, campaign website statements, media statements, anything we can find. And we put it all in one location where you can look up the name and see exactly what we have on that candidate in regards to education. That website is at www.texansforpubliceducation.com. Thank you for coming today. And I really appreciate people caring enough to come to an education forum on a Saturday. God bless you. God bless them. Next up, we